Happy Thursday, everybody! Araya here. It is time to go live in For the Love of Dragons, which we do every Thursday, somewhere around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tend to run a little bit late, as dragons do, because there is a high demand of dragons right now, and I've been flying all day long. We've got a lot going on in the group right now. Amazing book club group has pulled together, and I'm doing that now every Thursday for another 4 weeks after this. We started last week, and it's so fun to have amazing discussions and then a really powerful meditation that is quite often in the book club with a dragon that we don't typically get to work with. You know, outside the book, there's different dragons that are coming in, so it's always a super fun group, and surprised to see where the meditation goes each week. Hello, Ryan, good to see you. So besides that, I've been announcing for the last 2 weeks that I was going to have on the site very soon, because the black crystal, or the black, white, and crystal dragons are so prevalent right now for the times we're in. I've been promising that there's going to be new meditations available on the site, and they are up. I put them up on Tuesday. So dive in there. You can get individual ones, or you can get the set of 4, which is the whole Intergalactic Dragons album, we'll call it. It's the collection, so that you can get them all and work with them consistently, and you can merge the black and white dragons and move to the crystal. You can do them all individually. As I've said before, there's not a specific order you have to work in, like in the book anymore. Hello, Stacy. But I do encourage, if you can, do them in the order, but if your heart is calling you to the white one first, or to the crystal one first, or even some of the elementals, those are on the site as well. But it was my goal to get some more tools out, especially in this time frame that we're in. We're going to talk a bit more about the energy that's going on right now. Salut, Diane. Diane, up there in Canada. Je sais que tu parles français, et donc je dirais que les méditations françaises seront disponibles très bientôt pour le noir, le cristal et le blanc. Ça va venir vite, je te promets, Diane. So just putting a little call out there for the French speakers. I know there's many that are very frustrated that I don't have the videos available in French, and it's so hard to go back and talk about a whole subject because it's flowing, it's in the flow as it's happening, and to try and repeat it in another language is more difficult. So I am going to be coming up to do a workshop up there in October 10th and 11th. So those that are struggling to understand me, or trying to translate and get some of their friends to help, I will come and do an entire workshop in French up in the Montreal, Quebec region, October 10th and 11th. Information will be coming out about that soon, but you can always email me to get on the list to be notified. But a lot of exciting things happening right now, and we've had some great questions this week, so I'm going to dive in with one of them that Crystal asked last week, because I think this is a great one for everybody who might be having these sort of thoughts or wondering. And her question was, what is the difference between working with the dragon crystal skulls excuse me, and working with them just energetically, as in just working with the dragons energetically, versus needing to have a skull or having a skull in your presence, and like maybe you've experienced both. So one thing is the dragon crystal skulls are sort of few and far between. There's not a lot of people that can get their hands on them. I feel like there's some artisans that are making them, but those are typically associated with a particular dragon frequency. So there can be a specific dragon embedded in that crystal skull. Hello, Belinda. Or there may be like a dragon lineage that's associated. So for example, I have a dragon crystal skull that is actually made from jade. It's so maybe I should call it a jade skull. It was gifted to me, and knowing that if I was to work directly with it, there is a specific jade dragon that inhabits that jade, and so working with that, it's going to be that specific dragon or lineage that are associated with it. Now, some of the crystal skulls are more like regional, or have a larger, what do you call it, like a zone of influence that they are sort of responsible for. Like the original crystal skulls, they're from different zones around the planet. So the dragons that work with them are about clearing and healing those specific regions, or how you can help pull in that. Hello, Belinda from South Africa. Yes, hello down there. So in that sense, that's where I see the main difference, that in working with the dragons energetically, you can call in a jade dragon or one of the crystal dragons, maybe from a specific region, if you had that connection. But working with that skull would actually make it a much more connected, more quickly present, have you directed to that sphere of energy more easily. But it's very different than working with all of the dragons that you can invite or that are showing up in your field to work with energetically, in that many of us have dragon guides working with us. We might be dragon ourselves, and the dragon guides can change as you move through specific pieces that they're there to help you with, and then you have different dragons come in to take you the next part of your journey forward. So when we work them energetically in that sense, they're here to work with our particular journey, our individual path forward, and what's holding us back, and help move that, release all the blocks. Whereas I feel like the skulls are really specifically here more for work more on the humanity as a collective plane, that even though we connect with them individually, or there might be people that are called to have them in their possession. I know a woman in South Africa, Belinda, who, Jennifer, has several crystal skulls. I believe one of them is dragon, and when she uses them for work, she takes them to lots of places because it's about community, it's about the human collective in how those are being worked with and what they are bringing to the table as far as clearing more planetary issues than I think individual pieces. So I feel like the jade skull that I have, when I work with and connect with that it's bringing a more global frequency, or possibly my connection to some of the dragon lineages that are in Asia, where this jade, I believe, came from. Not positive where the jade is from, but it feels like that's a connection to take me back into all of the connections that I made last September in Tibet and China, and the thousands of dragons that are in that lineage, and being able to connect directly with them in that way through that. And would that potentially activate or heal those regions again, and working with them? I feel like that's the main difference. So if I didn't answer the question fully, Crystal, please post and say, wow, that brought up this, so that we can talk more about it next week. Hi Judith, hi Candace. So another question that I got last week that I'll bring up, and I'm going to read it because I didn't, I either don't understand it fully, and this is from Nomi, or my take on it is probably going to be different than maybe she was expecting to ask. But the other question that I got last week is this coronal chakra activation occurring right now related to the unplugging of our lower 4D reptilian selves and that matrix? She's been experiencing like a ping in the neck, and as if there's a cap on the crown releasing, as if there's somehow been an imprisonment because of something in the neck and something on the skull cap by a reptilian influence or seal. That can very much happen and be being released right now. But the second part of the question is, are dragons an ascended version of a lower 4D reptilian aspect, or are they merely assisting this 4D matrix unplugging? So first off, I don't necessarily relate to the term lower 4D reptilian selves. 4D is higher than the dimension we're in, for one. So there are reptilian races that are very low frequency beings. They're definitely part of what is being unplugged. Do I feel like I have a lower 4D reptilian self? I don't. They have nothing to do with the dragons. The dragons, even the draconic beings, are different than the dragons per se. There are reptilians. The dragons are more akin to like avian species, the bird species. Historically, even when they were in physical form, much like the dinosaurs, that the Natural History Museum or Natural Museum of Science has actually shown and has on display. I learned this actually at my kids' museum here in town, when they had the big T-Rex Sioux here coming through. I went and learned actually that most of the dinosaurs are now being considered part of the avian or the bird lineage, based on their bone structure rather than reptilian. So that's an interesting side note of how the dragons are related to that, because they're similar. They are much more akin to the bird than the reptilian species. Their energies are totally different. So in unplugging, I do feel like there's an aspect in the question about unplugging from a reptilian matrix, that there has been, obviously many know about distortions in our DNA that were part of the original reptilian takeover. Interesting, this came up in book club today, talking about the Orion battles and what happened when that reptilian takeover happened, when they came in and started mutating and manipulating the DNA and enslaving beings, whether there were a lot of dragons enslaved, but also then humanity in whatever form we were in at that point. So the reptilian aspect of being unplugged from that is, there can, in many people, and I'm vaguely recalling that having been unplugged from that many years back in my journey, so maybe all of us have some level of that because it's in our DNA, of feeling that now with this coronal activation, and as we're moving forward towards the new templates, that yes, indeed, we are going to be unplugged, that is part of what's happening with the coronal activation, that is unplugging us and preparing us for the new template, that it would entail then a pulling out or an unplugging from any of that distortion and that connection to, and that's really what the dragons are, that's part of what they're here to help us do, because they're here to help us release all of our shadow, to clear all of our distortions, to clear any debris that's left karmically within us, that is everything that's holding us back from incorporating all of our light, being able to connect fully to Mother, Father, God as the source of that light, and be able to move into the new template, the new era. And they expedite it. The dragons are here to bring their gift of making it more efficient, more quick, and like, let's not waste time, boom, 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 let's move you forward. So in that, there is an aspect, and feeling that ping in the neck of something that's unplugging, indeed, that might be something that many of you experience, which is why I wanted to bring the question on live and have that make sense, because a few of you will hear that and go, oh my gosh, that's what happened 8 months ago. That's exactly what it was. Or maybe you go through it in the next couple of weeks as this activation continues on the planet, and it hits home and you go, oh, well, that's what it is. I don't have to worry about it now. I understand it and I know what it is. And a lot of times that's what the information coming through is about. It's preparing you, or either allowing you to sink in and understand pieces that have come in the past, time together, or that are coming down the pike here, and to give you that sense of easing into and being able to relax about it and go, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. So with that unplug, and then connecting to the fact that, of the question, yeah, the dragons are just here assisting. They have no connection to the reptilian matrix, other than having been part of the Battle of Orion and adversely affected by having many of us go into a place where we experienced being chained, being tortured, lots of things that were a very negative experience for us in our own shadow bodies. Well, Lucy, and I feel like I'm going through it right now, going through a major reboot after the download, and I'm exhausted today. And that's last of the period. Yeah, absolutely. We're going up and down in these waves. There's a lot going on with all of our bodies right now, with the reset that's happening, and over the next couple of months, it's going to continue. Some of it will intensify, and then it will loosen. I know with time, we've been having the same kind of waves where there's moments or hours where I feel like it's expanded, where so much happens in a short period of time, and it feels like, oh, it's like 20 hours going by and it's actually only 4. Or the reverse is happening now. I'm in an opposite wave right now where I can look at the clock and it's 9 in the morning, and then I look again and it's like 3 in the afternoon, and I go, I didn't get 6 hours of stuff done. Where did that go? That it's being collapsed. And it's because we're weaving and pulling out of the timelines. So if you're not clear on that, or you didn't hear me talk about that before, check back about 3 weeks ago when I was talking about how we're moving into this tester field, how we're moving into the magnetics of the new earth, I think is what I called it. And I want to say 3 weeks ago, but it's that moving into the new resonance, how we do it, what it's going to look like. And it's going to make us exhausted in moments. Any kind of major reboot does, and it's not just an initial reboot, it's a continuous reboot, because each new field of resonance that we move into is going to be another level of reboot. It's going to be another level of, I thought I just got settled and stable, and here we go again, because we have a whole bunch of fields to move through to get to this new station, right? If you're on a radio station and you're operating at this one, and the new one is operating over here, then you have to be able to continuously step up, step up, step up, or if you don't want to look at it as higher frequencies, look at it as different frequencies, that I'm just stepping along the ladder or the chain of frequencies into, all right, I'm here and I have to get over here. Just like on your radio dial, push the button up, push the button up, push the button up. Oh, this is the one I wanted to be listening to. And that's where we're headed. So it is definitely causing a lot of things through the body, especially because it's the energy body, the emotional body, the mental body that are being reset. And when those get reset, then the physical body needs to reset by sleeping deeply, being exhausted, taking those cat naps. You know what? If you have the need for a power nap fall on you, honor it. Take it. 20 minutes, you'll be like new. But don't be surprised if that 20 minutes turns into 3 hours because your body really needed a full reboot. I know people that are going through that too. So, interesting questions. I feel like they're definitely part of what's happening energetically right now on the planet. And feeling like, when you're feeling like you're being bombarded with information, because I know that I'm in a space where I'm receiving a lot of videos and information of different perspectives on what's going on underneath the smoke and mirrors and awarenesses, and then I turn on the news to see, like, all right, I've heard about these arrests, where is it on the news? And I'm not finding it there. So trying to reconcile the disconnect, and just knowing, like, all right, all of this is being brought up to light. It will come out. It will come in the light. And to surrender and trust, and knowing that my space and most of you as light workers, or as those that are dragons, are going to be called, that really, yes, talking about it, bringing it to light, bringing awarenesses that come to you, to everybody's attention, especially when it's a glaring discontinuity with what you're seeing or receiving from other spheres, to start bringing that to the light of day. But the main focus right now is surrendering into the stillness in your heart space and holding the brightest candle that you can. And while you're doing that, in this space of settling in, breathing deeply and softly into yourself, that in that allowance, take the time to vision. The templates are still being built. We have an opportunity to build them to whatever degree we can vision. So we need to be visioning what that new era, that new template is going to look like. What do we want the new vision of humanity and moving forward to look like? Political structures, economic structures, agricultural structures. Think of them all. Building, architectural structures. What do you want it to look like? How is it going to serve humanity the best? And maybe you don't know. Maybe you just know that I want the highest intention, and you hold that of armies of light. Show me the highest intention that is possible, and let me hold that. Because I want the highest stream possible for all of us. And that's so important right now, to hold that frequency in your heart. And I know that that's what the dragons are about. They're about holding the incredible frequency of love, this huge unconditional embrace. And they're upholding. They're just gently holding, but also those that are bringing in guides to push you forward. They are ready to breathe on and burn up all of your stuff. They are ready to breathe and push you forward. They are ready to light up your own fire chamber and get you fired up and passionate and aligned with what you are here to be doing, truly on a soul level. So that's where I get excited, and where my part comes in as one of the guides to help you do that, to help you figure out what that is, to get you on track or give you the tools you need. So that's why there's some more meditations out there for you. So watch for those. Unfortunately, the Japan trip has been canceled, the activation in Japan. So I'm being shown actually how to gather the pieces I need to do that remotely, which will be interesting. But I might still offer transmission with that, to be connected to it. We'll see. But there's going to be another book club this year at some point. If you know that's going to be interesting to you, email me now to get on the list, because I only do 10 spaces. It's a powerhouse group. The book, the meditations, there's more things in development right now. Gonna have the layer opening, hopefully, in the next month, of things like this. Dragons that either pendants or dragons or things that you can tangibly touch that are gonna hold a transmission specifically for you to begin accessing and touching into that higher dragon self of yours, if you're indeed dragon. And if you're not, just expanding that connection to the dragon frequencies so that they're more prevalent around you. So hopefully those tools are all helpful. That's my goal and intention in creating them and bringing them out to you guys and having the group, so that you guys have a place to experience Hello Philippe and share what's going on with you. Philippe is one who's amazing at sharing his visual stories. He's a visual storyteller and always is bringing these beautiful skies with the dragons all over them to our attention. Thank goodness for people that are doing that, because many of us are seeing it, but if we don't share it, then other people don't recognize that it's going on elsewhere in the world, that the dragons in the skies are prevalent, that the dragons in the woods are prevalent, that they are in the water. They are so ever present right now because they're here in legions to help. The legions of light, as I broke into a big emotion last week, the armies of light are gathering and they are ready. They're getting ready to charge forward, and it's pretty exciting. So hopefully that answered. We had Crystal and Naomi's questions focused on today. If you have questions, that's what I'm here for. Bring them forward, because they benefit everyone by being able to talk about it every Thursday. And I love being able to come on and share new insights, or even old insights that maybe they were 2 years ago on a live and you haven't found it on the YouTube. Let's talk about it again. Let's bring it up to the forefront. If it's fresh in your mind, it's fresh in your journey, and it's important. So please send those to me, because I love bringing you what you need. So have a great week, everybody. I've loved being here. And don't forget, I've had a lot of discovery calls and dragon readings lately. My 20-minute time blocks that you can have a free discovery call. If you're feeling drawn to the dragons, you're new to the group, you're not sure what to do next, sign up for a free call. It's 20 minutes direct with me, where we get to hash out, like, where are you at? What are you looking for? This would be the best tools for you, or maybe watch for this. This would be a good fit, to get you lined out so that you know exactly where to go. And that's one of the programs in development right now, to get some more introductory, like, here you go, this is where you need to go next, to help you guys out in that sense. So hopefully those are useful, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a fabulous weekend. I look forward to seeing y'all later. Bye.